Hi y'all, it's Kimberly here. Thank you for coming to my channel. Thank you, new subscribers. I have just a short little story time today. This was back when I was a teenager, and back the city I lived in, there was a curfew for minors. If you were 16 or younger, you couldn't be out past 12 o'clock. And me and my friends, we were minors. We snuck out, and we were driving around, and there was this huge tree in town, and it was not famous. It was in the city. It was well known for historical reasons, and what I can't remember why. Somebody planted it, or it had some kind of value. I can't remember, but it was a beautiful tree. It was a big, huge oak tree. And where I lived at, there was not a whole lot of trees. I mean, there were trees, but you know, the area I lived in was flat. It was flat farmland, and they grew a city out of it. And there was this one street in town that was where all the rich people lived. It had mansions. I mean, like literal mansions, beautiful, beautiful mansions, and they were all landscaped, and they had some tall trees on them. So if you had really nice landscaped lawn with trees, you know, you had to have some money, and it showed that you have money. And the regular houses, you know, the trees were pretty much randomly planted by birds or squirrels or whatever, just dropping those seeds or nuts, you know, on the ground and whatever. I mean, people did plant trees, but you know, 30, 40 years ago, you could tell, probably 40 or 50 years ago, most of them were just, you know, scattered trees that just randomly grew. And you were lucky if you got to landscape your property. And some people did. They planted really beautiful trees. And this tree was huge. And I have a thing about trees because we didn't have like huge trees when I was growing up. I mean, there were trees. They were probably 20 or maybe 30 feet tall. To me, that was a really tall tree. But now you have these 60, 70, 80 feet trees. And a lot of the mature trees that were, you know, kind of small baby trees back then, they're mature now. They're beautiful. You can see them all around town. They're gorgeous and beautiful. And this one tree was, you know, very big and huge. It was an oak tree, and it had a huge trunk. I mean, so big, you know, we couldn't put our arms around it. And it was in this shopping center, this store, and it was at the edge of the parking lot, you know, next to the street. And they kind of just, you know, they didn't want to cut it down. They built the store, and then they just paved the parking lot around it. It had a little bit of grassy area, and I think it had like a bench or something maybe underneath it. I can't remember. So we were like, you know, out late at night. We're like, what are we gonna do, you know? And we're like, let's go to the tree. And so we went to the tree, and a couple of us were trying to climb it, and I got up into one of the branches probably about a good 15 feet from the ground. And it was a pretty thick branch, you know, it was thick enough that I could stand on it. And the other girl, she got scared. She got out of the tree, and I was still up in there. And then they decided they wanted to go somewhere else, and they're like, come on, come down, Kim. And I was like, oh, just a minute. And I was sitting on it, and then they're like trying to get me to come down. And I was like, oh, all right. And then I was trying to stand up, and I got halfway. I was kind of like halfway crouched, and I was standing up. And then one of the girls started throwing rocks at me. I was like, stop, you know, I'm coming. And she threw a rock at me, and it hit me, I think it like hit me in the neck or the jaw or something, and it kind of knocked me off balance. And I was trying to keep my balance, and I just kept falling, and I fell. And I fell on top of my friend. I don't know how I didn't kill her. I mean, I fell on her head. I fell right on top of her. I mean, I don't know how she didn't get paralyzed or die from it, because she cushioned my blow. I mean, I think I had like a scrape on my elbow, and that was it. And it was kind of like halfway on the piece of sidewalk there. And I mean, I landed splat on her. Her head was in my back. I don't know how I didn't kill her. And she was real mad. She got up and she started yelling at me. It was like, you threw rocks at me and you knocked me out of the tree. What am I supposed to plan on, where I'm going to fall? Well, you didn't have to fall on top of me. It's like, I didn't plan it, I just fell, and she was real mad at me. And she had a headache, and I'm sure she probably had a grade 2 or 3 concussion, I'm sure. And she was just mad at me for about a week or two, and it's just ridiculous. I nearly killed her. I don't know how I didn't kill her, because I remember when I was laying on the ground and her head was in my bag, I was like, oh my God, I hope she's not dead. Well, thank goodness I didn't kill her or paralyze her. And I haven't seen that girl I can't even remember her name, and I haven't seen her since, I think she moved away probably a few months or something, not long after that. And she never told her parents, and I mean, she should have told her parents. She should have went to the hospital, because she absolutely had a concussion. I'm sure she did. And if that ever happens to you, or anything like that happens to you, tell your parents. Don't be stupid. I did a lot of stupid things. I hurt myself. I did dumb things. I never told my mom. And there's things that I probably should have went to the hospital for, or at least a doctor. But I was too scared to. I was afraid I was going to get in trouble. But you know what? If you're going to break the rules and you get hurt doing it, tell somebody. It's better to take the consequence of, being grounded, or, just getting in trouble, paying for what you did, instead of being injured permanently or have some horrible thing happen to you. Just tell your parents. Just, be big and own up to it, because when I think back to the stupid things I did, I'm lucky to be alive and not mangled and in one piece. Well, I just remember that little thing. I was thinking about last night. How I didn't paralyze that girl, and how I didn't kill her. Well, thank you so much, and this is just a short little story time. I just thought of something funny, and I thought, oh, that was such a funny thing, I thought. Not to her, but, decades later, when I think about it, and I still can feel her head in my back. I mean, she cushioned my blow. I would have been paralyzed probably, because I landed on my back. I couldn't control it, and it would have killed me or either paralyzed me. Well, thank you for listening, and thank you for coming to my channel. Thank you so much.